Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jeremy Leffler, and I work in the Policy Office at the National Science Foundation. And it's my pleasure to welcome you today to the NSF Virtual Grants Conference. Before we begin, we'd like to take a quick poll to find out a little bit more about you. If you're using Zoom from a desktop browser, you may not be able to access the poll. For best results, please be sure you're viewing this presentation in the Zoom application. So we have arranged for the entire grants conference to take place this year online with over 2 weeks worth of webinars for the research community with 2 sessions per day. The content for our webinar series is similar to what it would be for an in-person grants conference. All of these sessions have been pre-recorded. However, we will be taking live Q&A. For information about the sessions and our speakers, you can visit the conference website. If you have questions, we ask that you submit them using the Q&A function in Zoom. We're encouraging attendees to upvote questions. And to upvote a question, you navigate to the Q&A and click on the thumbs up button. And this will bring the most popular questions to the top of the Q&A window. We will answer a number of these questions in the Q&A during the session, and then at the end of the session, we'll also have some time to answer your questions live. Please keep in mind that we do have a very large audience for this session, so we may not be able to answer all of your questions. This session is being recorded, and it will be made available on our website at nsfpolicyoutreach.com in the coming days. And we'll be sure to let you know once that those presentations have been posted, we will send you an email. If you have any technical difficulties during the presentation, please use the Q&A and someone will assist you. I want to thank you for participating in our poll. We're happy and excited that you can join us as this marks our first ever virtual grants conference, and we're coming to the end of our first week doing this. We have been doing these conferences for a long time at NSF, and while they began as small one-day events with a handful of program staff, they grew over the years to 2 full days with 25 to 30 staff, and now we've got a virtual event. We hope that you enjoy the conference and all of the sessions that you've chosen to attend. I'm now pleased to present this session, which will cover an overview of Research.gov, which is NSF's modernization of FastLane, and it will include a demonstration of proposal preparation in Research.gov. This session will be covered by Sonya Arora of the NSF Division of Information Systems.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sonya Arora. I'm the lead project manager for the proposal submission modernization efforts at the National Science Foundation. And I'm excited to provide you all an update on our progress on our IT modernization and Research.gov modernization efforts. During our session today, I will provide you an overview of why we decided to modernize our proposal submission system, the benefits in preparing proposals in Research.gov, what features are available today and what lies ahead, the benefits in preparing proposals in Research.gov, a highlight of our recently launched demo site, our migration efforts to increase proposal submissions, where you can find training resources, and how you can provide feedback. Then I'll walk you through a demo of our current functionalities, and we'll conclude with a Q&A session. Proposal Submission Modernization, or PSM, is a multi-year initiative to modernize the proposal preparation and submission capabilities in FastLane and migrate them to Research.gov. So why did we decide to modernize? FastLane was launched in 1994, 26 years ago, was revolutionary at the time. Now it's built on old technology that's just too old and inflexible. It limits the ability for NSF to make cost-efficient system improvements and add requested features for reducing administrative burden. Additionally, the user interface does not conform to the modern industry standards and is difficult for users to learn new modern system approaches. and not to mention how costly it is and inefficient for NSF to support proposal preparation in multiple systems. Our proposal submission system met the objectives in improving user experience, improving data quality and capture proposal content that supports data analytics, increasing efficiency for proposal management, improving availability, security, and flexibility, and ultimately reducing administrative burden for both our internal and external communities. With our community of users in mind, Research.gov has a fast and easy proposal wizard for PIs to initiate proposals. It takes less than 5 minutes to quickly find funding opportunities, initiate a proposal, and grant access to administrative staff to assist with proposal preparation. We have built an immediate compliance feedback section by section, and Research.gov provides immediate feedback and alerts so proposers know what proposal section is compliant before moving on to another section. The information is less cluttered and more organized, so you only see relevant sections and actions specific to your proposal. Uploads are instantaneous versus 30 to 90 seconds for each document upload in Fastlane. It also provides higher quality of the PDFs versus Fastlane, which redistills the PDF so the resolution is degraded. Since our launch in 2018, we have incrementally added more functionalities along the way. We are iteratively or incrementally developing functionalities which affords us the opportunity to engage with you, our user community, to gather feedback and then incorporate those feedback into our development process. With our July release, Research.gov has been able to support all full research proposals that conform to the standard PAPG requirements for formatting and document content. At the end of October, we launched our Research.gov demo site, which was a big ask from our external community and our internal NSF colleagues. To highlight some of our upcoming updates and capabilities, effective November 23rd, NSF will be removing the automated compliance checks and associated compliance warnings for font type and font size to align with Fastlane. We are also excited to offer our research community the addition of rapid, eager, and raise proposal types. Although this functionality won't be available until November 23rd, I'll give you a sneak peek from our testing environment when I run the demo. In the coming months, we are working on implementing additional proposal and submission types and proposal withdrawal capabilities. On October 26th, NSF launched the Research.gov proposal preparation demo site. This site is available for use to both our research community and NSF staff. The demo site allows you to prepare and edit proposals before preparing proposals in the actual system. All compliance checks that are enabled in the actual system will also apply to the proposals in the demo site. All proposal types available in the actual submission system are also available in the demo site. As other proposal types are added to the actual system, they will also be incorporated to the demo site. For our initial implementation, the demo site will not support proposal submission and will not trigger any system-generated email notifications. All users who access the demo site will be given the role of a PI. Users from the research community will have the organizations they are affiliated with in their NSF account profile and the National Science Foundation mock organization as available organizations in the demo site. As an important note, the demo site proposals will not be available on the actual Research.gov proposal submission system, and information cannot be transferred between the demo site and the actual submission system. With the launch of this demo site, we've also retired the Fastlane demo site. Just this past September, NSF provided our research community an alternative way to sign into Research.gov. Instead of using your NSF ID, users can use their primary email address to sign in and for NSF account password recovery. Users will still be able to sign in to Research.gov using your NSF ID. This change is intended to make it easier for users to remember their Research.gov sign-in information, as well as to align with the industry standards for signing in using an email address. While the development is underway to increase functionality in Research.gov, we have been working with our NSF senior leadership and key stakeholders on a phased ramp-up strategy to increase proposal submissions. With our phased approach, our strategy is to gradually transition our user community in phases to minimize burden on both our NSF staff and our research community. We will expand on our foundation-wide efforts to update our research community on our transition plan and progress. On September 22nd, the NSF director signed the important notice to inform our research community that in the coming months, we will be migrating our programs to Research.gov. We kicked off the first phase with the Directorate for Biological Sciences. The Bio Directorate has revised solicitations for its core programs that do not have deadline dates to require the use of Research.gov or Grants.gov. In preparation for this transition, the Bio Directorate issued a Dear Colleague letter to inform the bio community about the migration. The bio community will have 90-day grace period from the date the solicitation is issued before the solicitation is removed from FastLane. Bio solicitations with deadlines will also be moved to Research.gov in an incremental manner. For future phases, we are working with the other directorates to identify core programs and to re-clear the solicitations to only reference Research.gov as we move along in our migration efforts. NSF will provide updates to our research community. There are a lot of Research.gov proposal resources already available to you within the proposal submission application, both in the actual system and in the demo site. There are information tooltips and links to the PAPG, FAQs, and video tutorials. These resources help proposers from having to go to multiple places for information while preparing their proposals. Also, the resources on the About page in Research.gov are being updated on an ongoing basis. Check back frequently for updated contents. We're also working on new help guides composed of tip sheets that can be standalone or be used as part of a consolidated resource. To stay up to date on the latest news, you can join the listservs. For our FastLane automated compliance checklist, we typically update this with each annual PAPG release. However, we did update this on October 5th with the enforcement of using an NSF-approved format for current and pending support and biographical sketches. The Research.gov automated compliance checklist is updated with each major PSM release, and the next version will be updated on November 23rd to reflect the validations that will be in place for the rapid, eager, and raised proposal types, and the removal of the font size and type compliance validations. Now, I'm going to walk you through how to prepare a proposal in Research.gov and highlight some of the core functionalities and capabilities available to users today. For this demo, I'm logged in as a PI. Once I'm in the proposal submission system, a welcome message pops up. As we make major enhancements to the system, we will provide a brief update with this pop-up message. So let's go ahead and click Continue. Now I'm going to create a new proposal and show you just how easy it is to prepare a proposal using the 5-step proposal creation wizard. There are two ways you can initiate a proposal, either from the desktop or from the top menu bar. So let's go ahead and prepare the proposal. Here are the 5 quick steps. The first step is the funding opportunity. You can either filter by the solicitation number or by keyword search. I want to note that just under the funding opportunity, we've highlighted that not all funding opportunities are available in Research.gov. So if you do not see the funding opportunity, then check in Fastlane. The second step is the unit of consideration. Now, if this was a single unit of consideration, then the data would have pre-populated. In this case, I'm able to add multiple. Now here, we've added additional functionality where you can prioritize the unit of importance by using the arrow feature. Let's go to the third step. The third step is the proposal type. I'll go ahead and select research. As we implement additional proposal types, they will no longer be grayed out and you will be able to select other proposal types. The fourth step is the submission type. Currently, we've only enabled full proposal submission. We are working on making other submission types available in the near future. The last step in the wizard is to identify whether this proposal is a single submission with or without subawards or separately submitted collaborative proposal. NSF defines collaborative in 2 ways: single submission with subawards or separately submitted collaborative proposals from multiple organizations. We've also simplified the questions to minimize confusion and provided helpful information to support you in making your right selection. For this demo, I will walk you through a separately submitted collaborative proposal. Once this option is selected, an additional question will be prompted asking you what your role is on this proposal. Are you the lead or non-lead proposer? Once you've made this selection, you can go ahead and enter the proposal title. Here we have further distinguished the proposal type by prepending the title. This will also display in the cover sheet. Now I'll go ahead and prepare my proposal. Once you click on Prepare Proposal, you cannot undo any of your selections except edit your proposal title. If this is a non-lead organization, then the non-lead organization will inherit the lead organization's title after proposal linking has been established. Here is the main proposal page. At the top, these are the selections I made using the quick wizard. To the right-hand side is the due date. If this is a non-lead proposal, the due date is inherited from the lead. Here's a link to the funding opportunity for reference. Moving a little further down are the required sections. And a little below that are the optional sections. To the left-hand side are your proposal actions. And below the proposal actions are helpful links and video on how to submit a proposal. Now, I'll show you how the compliance checks work and what the error and warning messages mean. So I'll go ahead and upload a project summary. Here, we have provided helpful instructions to assist you with this section of the proposal, and you will see this guidance throughout the other sections. As you can see, Research.gov gives you instant feedback on uploads. The file I just uploaded gave me an error. This is a hard stop indicated in red, and you will not be able to proceed with proposal submissions. Let's go ahead and try another file. With this upload, I successfully uploaded the project summary as indicated in the green message at the top. I want to note that if you receive a warning message, you will still be able to proceed to the other sections and will allow you to submit your proposal. Also, we have built in over 89 compliance validations checks versus 56 in Fastlane. And the benefit to you and why more automated compliance checks are good is that it reduces the chance of your proposal being returned without review due to formatting issues. Now, going back to the main proposal page, you are able to check the status of the compliance for each section or upload in the main proposal page. Now I'm going to show you how to add a senior personnel to the proposal by clicking on Manage Personnel. I'm going to go ahead and add a co-PI to the proposal. You can add a senior personnel by using their NSF ID or email. And if it was successful, you will receive a green message at the top of the screen. Now I'm going to show you how to add a senior personnel document to the proposal by clicking on the Senior Personnel Document section. For all senior personnel, we require a biographical sketch, current and pending support, and COA documents. Now go ahead and upload a COA document, again, to highlight how our compliance checks work and what we have in place. If you're unsure of the requirements, here's a link to the FAQs and a helpful how-to video. If you need further assistance, please reach out to us. We're happy to assist you and welcome all feedback. Now, with the first upload, this gave me a hard stop, which indicated in red is an error, and you cannot proceed to proposal submission. Also, we've provided actionable errors, which specifies the row, column, and special characters to help you focus on the area of concern. With a successful upload, you'll see a preview of the uploaded document. We encourage you to double check to ensure it is the correct file and the content within the file is correct. Now I'm going to show you how to upload or add budget to our proposal. This is your budget screen. Here, it indicates how many senior personnel are identified in this proposal. You can remove senior personnel from your budget by simply clicking on the Manage link and removing the senior personnel you want to remove from the budget. You can add multiple years by clicking on the Add Year button. You can copy from the previous years. To give you more real estate, we've allowed and incorporated the ability to hide the menu bar so you can focus on just the budget. Now I'll go ahead and enter some values. Now, another feature that we've included with you in mind is the roll-up of the financials. So once you enter the budget, it automatically rolls up for you. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some postdoctoral scholars to our proposal. All proposals that have postdoctoral scholars in the budget will require a postdoctoral mentoring plan. In a separately submitted collaborative set, the lead proposer must submit a postdoctoral mentoring plan for each postdoctoral fellow in the collaborative set. Now let's go back to the main menu and to the main proposal page. Since this is a collaborative set, you can link to non-lead proposers. In order to link, you go under Proposal Action and select the Link and View Collaborative Proposals. A pop-up window will display where the lead organization will enter the temporary ID number of the non-lead organization. Now, to clarify, this is an activity that is done outside of the Research.gov proposal preparation system. After the non-lead proposer has initiated a proposal, they will provide the lead proposer with their temporary proposal ID, and you will simply enter it here. Once the link request has been initiated, the non-lead organization will receive an email and notification in Research.gov notifying them that they have received a proposal link request. Now, I'm going to show you how a proposal file update and a budget revision works. We're going to go ahead and view and update submitted proposals and select one of the submitted proposals and click on Prepare Proposal File Update or Budget Revision. For all proposal file updates, a PFU justification form is required. This is also an indication that you're at the right place, and you can go ahead and update the section you want. I'm going to go ahead and delete the previously submitted proposed project summary and upload a new one. Once you're done, you can go back to the main proposal page and you can see what section was revised and when. Now let's go ahead and do a budget revision. If your budget has decreased by 10% or more, you must submit a budget impact statement. The requirement is not enforced by the system, but it will be required in order for NSF to issue an award. So keep that in mind when you are doing a budget revision. One thing to note here also is that you must re-grant your AOR access, as the access doesn't get carried over from the original proposal. This concludes the demo, but I want to show you where you can find some additional resources on the About page. So we've taken great strides in redesigning our About page with new and updated FAQs and other contents, and we will continue to update the About page with helpful information. So here's where you can find the current and future capabilities matrix. If you have any questions or concerns around the compliance checks that's in place, you can access them here. And if you want to stay updated on NSF system enhancements and updates, please sign up for our listserv. If you want to provide feedback, please access the button located on the lower left-hand side of the Research.gov homepage. We take your feedback seriously, and we want to make sure that you have the best user experience. Thank you for attending this presentation. Now we'll take questions from the audience.
Okay. We've been receiving a lot of questions from all of you, and that's great. Again, we will try to get to as many as we can in the time that we have left remaining. What I've tried to do is answer a number of them in the Q&A portion. So if you've asked a question, if it doesn't get answered, you might want to just check that section to see if it's been answered. And we'll try to ask the questions that we think will have the most value and benefit to everyone who's here. So with that, why don't we begin, and I'll look at some of the ones that kind of got the most upvotes. So the first question, Sonya, is will there a feature be added to allow research administrators to initiate a proposal in Research.gov?
So currently, NSF do not have any plans to make that functionality available. However, it is in our development backlog. We will take a look at that.
Okay. We received a lot of questions about fonts and font size and error messages or warning messages. Can you talk a little bit about fonts in Research.gov and what NSF is doing to deal with that issue? And then also, as a part of that, we got a number of questions about the use of LaTeX as well.
Absolutely. So regarding font warnings, in the presentation earlier, I mentioned that this weekend, actually, we will be removing the font size and font type compliance checks, validations, and warning messages. So that should settle some of your minds in terms around font warnings. Regarding LaTeX, so we have been receiving successful submission from our LaTeX community in Research.gov. Now, if proposers receive margin warnings, it's likely that the user had some extra content in the margins, page numbers, headers, footers, or a figure that may have spilled over outside the margin. So nonetheless, though, these are warning messages, and it will not prevent submission, so you can proceed with the preparation and submission part of the proposal.
Great. A question about using Windows software versus a Mac. Is there anything that Mac users should be aware of when submitting proposals or preparing on a Mac? And some people are reporting that they're getting warnings that they're not able to resolve if they're using a Mac.
No, we do not have any special guidance for Mac users in particular.
Okay. A question on subaward budgets in Research.gov, that they only show the total project amounts in the prime budget rather than including the yearly amounts in the yearly budget. Do we have plans to do anything about this?
Not at the present time. No enhancements to budget at the present time.
Okay. I saw another question there. So it's not on my screen at the moment, but I remember seeing it when we're talking about budgets. And are there plans to be able to, instead of inputting that material, the information directly into the screen, are there plans to be able to upload or transfer like a CSV format to the budget?
At the present time, we do not have any plans to provide an alternative solution for adding budget to the proposal other than populating the data that's on the screen.
Okay. Somebody writes about a special character in a title, and they were unable to use a colon in the title. Are there any changes to deal with that issue?
So, if for those community of users that may have experienced some issues around special characters, we did resolve a vast majority of it with our database modernization efforts last year. So there are some special characters that we are looking closely at. Right now, I do not have a timeline or time frame on when we may resolve some of those outliers.
Okay, again, getting back to the roles of PIs and the SPOs, there's a question asking whether the PI or the SPO will be able to update a solicitation, update the proposal if the wrong solicitation is chosen. And currently, the process is they have to delete the proposal and start a new entry.
That's correct. And that's how it behaves in both of our supported systems, both in Fastlane and Research.gov. So once a PI has initiated a proposal, the only area that you can modify is really the title. So if you did not select the right solicitation or you want to modify the units of consideration, you will have to start again.
Okay, and if the proposer decides later on, after they've already created the proposal and they want to be able to add a second unit of consideration, can they go back and do that?
They'll have to start over again.
Okay. Are there Research.gov guides available on how to submit a proposal file update, or how the PI can grant SRO access to these types of help guides?
Yes, so there are available resources on the About page, and we are building new content and materials month by month as we implement new features and functionalities. We are, taking closer look at providing the best resources for our external community. So please do check often. We do make updates as often we can.
Okay, if a proposer chooses to prepare a single proposal with subawards, but then they decide they want it to be a separately submitted collaborative proposal, can they do that? And how would they do that?
Right, so if you already selected single submission using the 5-step proposal creation wizard, and you decided to do a separately submitted, you would have to start again.
Okay. Can you tell us who receive when you're doing a separately submitted collaborative proposal and we send out these email link requests, who receives those emails? So
the way linking works is that it's an effort that's outside of the system. So the system will prompt the lead proposer of the collaboration set to enter the non-lead collaborator's temporary proposal ID. So what would happen then is that the lead and non-leads would have to communicate outside by email or phone call, and the non-leads would have to initiate their proposal, whereby they would receive a temporary proposal ID, and that ID should be given to the lead, and the lead would input that data into the system. And what the system would do is then generate an email to the PI to say that, the linking has been established. And so what would happen there is that then the non-lead would have to log into Research.gov and accept that linking.
Okay, and then again, when a proposal is initiated, are AORs, authorized organizational representatives, are they notified when a proposal at the initiation stage?
Yes, so this is, the PI has this responsibility. So once the PI initiates a proposal, he or she can grant access to their institution, AORs and SPOs. So they would have to click on the grant or manage access and grant SPO AOR access to the proposal. And they have view edit rights, or you could do edit and you can even allow SPOs to submit, or AORs to submit, excuse me, on behalf of the PI.
Can you tell us when renewal proposals will be available in Research.gov?
So we are taking a closer look at this. We are looking at incorporating this into this fiscal year, so not in the calendar year.
Okay, and then related to FastLane and Research.gov, the big question is, when will FastLane go away?
That's a great question. We do get that at every conference or every event. We do not have an answer for that right now. So what we are trying to do is migrate the community over in a smooth fashion, if you will. So we're doing a lot of hand-holding right now. We're trying to, address some of your concerns and issues that you may have, because the reality is that when we do set that date, we don't want to have this bottleneck of where we're supporting a large population at the same time. And that's going to be a constraint both for our internal resources, also for you in terms of timely help and support. So we're trying to do this gradually. Great.
A question about collaborative proposals, and again, talking about FastLane and Research.gov. Can you talk about whether can you use both systems, basically? Do all collaborators and everybody on the project need to use one or the other?
So the general rule, if there's any takeaway, please take this, is that if you initiate a proposal in FastLane, then you must complete your entire proposal preparation and submission process in the system that you initiated the proposal. So if you started, if there's a this is a separately submitted collaborative set. So all of your collaborators must submit in the system that the lead initiated in. For example, if I'm a lead proposer and I'm doing initiate in Research.gov, then the non-leads must follow suit.
Okay. Going back to error messages and margins. Somebody is reporting that they get a margin error even when there are no embedded images or text in the margins or in the header and the footer, and they've had to change the margins to 1.1 inches for Research.gov to accept it. Is that something that you're aware of, and are you working on that?
We are. So sometimes what happens is that the outlier is not visible. So it could be embedded in an image, it could be in a footer, it could be a period in a footer or header that, you may not visually see it. So we've had instances where that's been a problem. And, if you just cannot figure it out, then please do contact our help desk and we'll do everything we can to support and resolve that issue.
Okay. You may have answered this, but I'm going to bring it up again because it's come up a few times. But the question is in FastLane, when a PI gives access to SPO and to the sponsored projects office, an email was generated so that office was aware that the proposal has been initiated. They're saying that they're not seeing that notification happening in Research.gov. So could you go over again a little bit about notification emails?
So you're saying that the SPO did not receive the email?
That's what they're stating.
So in general, when the SPO, when the PI grants access to the administrators with that institution, they do receive an automated email letting them know that they've been granted access to that proposal. If they're not receiving that auto notification, then please do inform us. We're not aware that it's not working. So please do let us know if there are some concerns around that.
Okay, let's see. If all opportunities are not in Research.gov, and then we go to FastLane, are we still able to use Research.gov, or do we use FastLane? I think you just answered that one about, I think, if I'm understanding the question correctly.
I can clarify. Yep.
Yeah.
So in the coming weeks and months, so we are gradually adding more functionality, adding more proposal types and submission types into Research.gov. So what we've done is we've partnered with policy as well as our research directorates to gradually migrate some of their solicitations over to Research.gov. And so the first one that we kicked off, and it's at the tail end, has been the bio directorate. And so they communicated to their community using the DCL, Dear Colleague letter. Also, your institutions received an important notice from our NSF director, Dr. Panchanathan. So it's been communicated that we are doing this. And so in-house, what we're doing is, again, working closely with our research directorates to move some of those core program solicitations over to Research.gov. So your solicitation will clarify if Fastlane and Research.gov can be used, or if one system can be submitted with this proposal type.
Great. Thank you for going over that. For the project summary, in Fastlane, we have the situation where for the project summary, there are text boxes that people have to fill out for the overview, the intellectual merit, and the broader impact sections. Can you confirm that this is not the way things are working in Research.gov, that it's upload only? Can you confirm that? And are there any other parts of the proposal that are not upload only?
Correct. The project summary is upload only, and we do follow what's in the PAP guide in terms of this, but our systems, it will provide on-screen instructions on if there's any alternative ways that you can submit for that required section.
Okay, and then a question about pagination. Can you talk about pagination in Research.gov versus Fastlane?
So the way, Research.gov automatically paginates, so you do not need to add page numbers to your document. So that's one way internally how we distinguish, which proposals are from which system.
Okay. Another question here. Is it possible to change the lead PI once a proposal has been initiated?
Yes, there is a way to do that. So in Research.gov, again, you can only initiate a proposal as a PI. So once you have initiated the proposal, you can add the real PI as a co-PI and grant edit access to your SRO and AORs. We do not have a feature currently enabled where you can click or toggle between the co-PI and PI. So instead, you would have to remove yourself as a PI, and it should automatically move the co-PI as the main PI. Okay.
And then people are still struggling or a little bit with the collaborative proposals when they're trying to identify who they need to contact at the collaborating organization to make sure that they get their information in on time. So who can you say again, just for clarity's sake, everyone that receives notification of link requests for separately submitted collaborative proposals?
So for the linking piece of this, again, it's done outside of the system so that the non-lead collaborators must coordinate with the lead proposing organization, and they would have to provide their temporary proposal ID, and whereby then the lead proposer would link all of the non-leads to their proposal. And so that's how linking is established. So once the link is established and sent to the non-lead, so those that have been identified under that proposal will receive an automated email from the system saying that the lead organization has requested you to link with their proposal. And so once you log into Research.gov, you will see at the top of your in-progress proposals to either accept, reject, or decide later on the linking.
Okay. We got a question stating that the Proposal and Award Policies and Procedures Guide doesn't currently include instructions for Research.gov. I can say that we're aware of that, obviously, and we're looking at incorporating those as we get closer to migrating fully from Fastlane to Research.gov. But are there specific resources in Research.gov that you can point people to help guide them through this process?
Yeah, so what we have advised our community is to follow the on-screen instructions. We are aware, as you said, Jeremy, that it does deviate slightly in certain sections. And so we are trying to remediate that with, the future enhancements of our PAPG guide. But please do follow the on-screen instructions on how to submit your proposal in Research.gov and what the requirements are for the required sections. We also have guides for you in the About page, so please do use that as a resource and see if that helps.
Okay, another question about PDF documents that are uploaded in Research.gov. If the PDF is not searchable, will that create any error messages?
So internally, we do take a closer look at PDFs. It's not, one size fits all in this case, because people use different tools to generate those PDFs. So it's on a case-by-case basis that we can assess what the root cause of that, PDF is.
Right. So, for example, it might be a letter of collaboration that you receive from another organization that is not searchable, but that in that case, it wouldn't create a warning or an error message, but that's based on where it's included in the proposal itself.
That is correct. Yep.
A question on non-lead collaborating institutions. How do they acquire their temporary ID?
So you would have to initiate a proposal in Research.gov. And so when you initiate a proposal, that generates the temporary proposal ID.
And then could you talk a little bit about how that works with titles as well of that?
Yep. So there are certain sections that once linking has been established that the non-leads would inherit from the lead proposer, and that includes a title. So if you're a non-lead organization and you're initiating a proposal, you can put in whatever title you want, but once linking has been established, it will be overwritten with what the lead proposer's title is.
Great, thank you. Going back to the budget, somebody is asking if they enter budget data before copying to create subsequent years, will it copy the budget detail as well?
No, it should be a blank page.
Okay. A lot of the questions that remain that I'm seeing it looks like we've answered them already, or they may be such that I can't decipher the intent of the question. So I do want to thank you, Sonya, for presenting today and taking the time to answer all these questions. And I want to thank all of you for attending as well. Again, this session has been recorded. We'll make it available on our website at Policy Outreach, nsfpolicyoutreach.com, and we'll let you know as soon as it's there. Again, hope you're able to attend some of the other sessions that we still have, one more later today on the Major Research Instrumentation Program, and then the week of November 30th as well, we'll have our second week of the Grants Conference. So thank you so much, everybody, and be well.